Hi, hello, welcome to Learn Legal Basics. So, from today onwards, I will be starting a new series for those students who are going to write the CMA examination. So, this will be a series of Companies Act 2013. I will be explaining all the concepts, all the important concepts that are going to come for the exam for sure. So, from my series, you will be able to understand what is the concept and how the concept is applied in the practical world. So this will be a very short series. That is, each session I will be explaining the concept in just 15 minutes. So without getting any delay, let's get started. Today we are going to discuss the doctrine of lifting the corporate veil. So before going into this doctrine, let us understand what is a corporate veil. Okay, a corporate veil. Let's understand the actual meaning of corporate veil with an example. Here is an example that this person is a shareholder of XYZ Private Limited, the company. Okay, this is the company and he is the shareholder who has invested 10 lakh rupees in the company. Okay, Rahul has invested 10 lakh rupees in the company. So what is the actual legal status of a company? A company is an artificial person. So it is separate from the investors. A company is separate from the investors. Shareholders are different and the company is different. Okay. So a company is treated as an artificial person who has a separate legal identity. A separate company is treated as a separate legal entity and it has a separate legal identity. What is separate legal identity? The identity is legally just like we humans. Okay. So we can so as an individual, I can buy a property, I can sell the property, I can own the property in my own name, and a person can sue if I have done any crime. Okay, a person can sue against me and I can also sue against any other person who is infringing my rights. Likewise, a company is also having a separate legal identity before the court of law. So law treats company as a separate legal person. Understood? So here a company can own its own property, it can sue and can be sued, and it can own its own liabilities as well. So here, from this example, let's understand that this particular company, that is XYZ Private Limited company, has borrowed 50 lakh rupees. Okay, this company has borrowed 50 lakh rupees from a bank. Okay, so whether this shareholder Rahul will be liable for this money, this 50 lakh rupees. Here, Rahul has invested 10 lakh rupees in the company and this company borrows 50 lakh rupees. So here, if the company fails to repay this borrowed money, whether Rahul will be liable to pay the entire amount, that is the 50 lakh? No, Rahul will not be liable. Rahul is not personally liable for the entire 50 lakh amount. The company alone is responsible to repay the entire amount. Rahul will be liable only up to the face value of the money he has invested, and it depends on the kind of share that he's holding. Okay, whether it is equity, debenture, what there are certain kinds of what investments that a person can make in a company. So it depends on that. So here Rahul is not personally liable for these entire 50 lakh rupees. From this we can understand that a company and its shareholders, a company as well as its directors, a company as well as its promoters, all these are separate. Okay, a director cannot be held liable for a company's act. For the Companies Act, no, neither the shareholder, neither the director, neither the CEO, board of directors, neither the promoters, nobody will be held liable for the company's liabilities. Okay, this is the general condition. Okay, but here, if we apply the doctrine of lifting the corporate veil, that is entirely a different case. Here, the corporate veil acts as a liability deflection shield. So, when the creditor or legal obligations threatens the company, that is, threatens the shareholders or the other members of the company, this shield, That is, the company and these members of the company are treated different. There will be a shield between the company as well as the members of the company. So this shield is known as the corporate veil. So here the veil will protect the real people inside. That is, people who are related to the company, who are working inside the company and for the company. Okay, so this shield is there. Court usually respect the separation between the company as well as members of the company, but under certain circumstances, this shield will be removed. This shield between the company and the members will be removed, and that is known as lifting of corporate veil. Okay, lifting of corporate veil is removing this shield between the company as well as the shareholders or other members of the company. So the veil hides real people behind the company, encouraging investment without fear of personal ruin. That is the actual usage of this veil. But what if a fraud happens in because of this mask? Okay, if the company is treated different from the members can do fraudulent things, right? So let's assume that a person creates a company. Okay, I am creating a company and I'm taking money from the customers as well, and I'm delivering no products, I'm delivering no services as well, and at last I leave the company with zero asset. I'm not providing any services and I'm not delivering any products or goods, and at last, at the end, I'm claiming that it was the company's fault, not my fault. And I'm committing that fraud behind the shield of this corporate veil. So, what happens here is, if a member of the company commits any fraud or avoids paying tax or cheat the creditors, or try to cheat the creditors, or escape the legal obligations that he is obliged to do, that in that particular situation, or in that situation, what happens is the court will remove this shield will no longer be applied. The fraudster will get caught. Okay, the fraudster will be caught. Here he will get arrested and this shield will be removed, and the actual person behind the shield, the actual person who committed this fraud, or the actual person who avoided the tax or cheated the creditors or escaped from the legal obligations, that person will be held liable, not the company. So that is the lifting of corporate veil. So here, let me explain in simple terms. It is the ignoring the separate legal personality of company and identifying the real persons behind it to prevent injustice or fraud. So this lifting of corporate veil is done to prevent the injustice or fraud happening behind the shield of the company. Understood? So what is the result? The owner cannot escape. The owner cannot tell that the company is responsible for his or her action. The court holds them personally liable and personally responsible for their own action. That is why the doctrine of lifting the corporate veil is applied here. So, what is the difference between rule versus the exception? Exception is there. Okay. Sorry. Maintaining the corporate veil. Here, the status is it's a normal rule, and company is treated separately. So corporate veil is there. If a corporate veil is there, this is the normal rule. Company is separate, and the members who are working for the company is separate. Excuse me. And here the company is treated separately and the members are treated separately. What is the liability? Here shareholders are being protected because of the shield between the company as well as the shareholders. Ultimate goal is to encourage the business as well as investment. While at the same time, lifting the corporate veil, here this is an exception. Okay, it does not apply generally. Only during a fraudulent activity committed by the shareholder or the members, or only if any violation of law happens, the court will consider lifting the corporate shield. Okay, that status is an exception. It is not a general rule. And here the company's separate legal identity is being ignored. Here the court will treat company as well as the member as same person. Okay, and what is the liability here? Shareholders held personally liable for their action. And the ultimate goal here is to prevent the misuse and fraud. Understood? Diagnostic dashboard. So circumstances for court intervention. when the court will lift the veil between the company as well as its members. First one, if there is any conflict in public interest, like maintaining separation actively harms the society, right? Um, when an act of the company or the members of the company affects the public interest, there arise a public interest issue. Like when I started a company and I collected money from the customers without delivering any products, that is a ruin, or that is public harm. So public will have an interest over that particular companies, and the public will need some compensation or relief from the company. So if whenever there is a concern relating to the public interest arises, the court will intervene. Okay. When there is an enemy character, like company controlled by enemy nationals during wartime, that time also the court will intervene, and court will interfere between the company and its members' affairs. And when the company merely acts as an agent, the principal is liable. So here in this situation, the principal company, that is the company who is acting as a principal for another company which is an agent, here the principal company will be held liable. If I'm owning a company and I also have a lot of share in another company, and that company is actually acting like a, let's assume that X is my company and Y is my agent company. Here if Y did something wrong, the company X will be held liable. The principal company will be held liable. What is fraud? Fraud means fake companies or creating fake companies to steal the investors' money, or any other fraudulent activities will come under fraud. So here also the court will intervene, and the court will lift the veil between company as well as its members. When the tax is evaded, and when a dummy entity existing only on paper with no real business, that is sham company. So when a company is there in the papers but it is not actually working, there is no real business happening in that company, or there is no such company at all, it's only there in the paper. So such companies are known as sham company. And if a sham company is found by the court will intervene in such situation as well. So these are the statutory exemptions. Fraudulent trading, misstatements, wrongful director conduct, membership below minimum, all these will attract this court's intervention. Okay. So this is nothing but the same example that I have mentioned. When the court will intervene, that is when a sham company is being exposed or the agent companies are being exposed, the court will intervene in those matters. So when a shareholder take any illegal action and it affects the system or it affects the public, like let's assume that this is a sham company, that is the holo company, there is no such company at all, and the shareholders actually invested, yeah, they told that they are investing their money, but people, that is customers, are being cheated by those statements, that is tax evasion, broken contracts, or some illegal actions done by the shareholders behind the veil of this hollow company, and the public is the victim here. So here the company conducts no real business, it exists only on the paper as a dummy conduit for the owner's activities. Here the shareholder is doing some illegal actions behind the shield of this company, and the company is not acting independently, it is merely an agent executing the will of another person. So here this company is actually an agent, it is executing the will of another person, that is the shareholder here. So the company is just an agent. Okay, it's just an agent, and the court traces the action straight through the hollow company. So the court will not consider this company at all, and it will directly go to the shareholder or the person who is acting behind this company. Okay, to the principal. Okay. Precedents. Let's go through the precedents first. Salomon versus Salomon is the first case law that came regarding lifting of corporate veil. Here, the general principle, that is the statutory protection came in this case law, that is a company has a separate legal personality, has been established through Salomon versus Salomon, not Solomon, sorry. a wrong pronunciation. A company has a separate legal personality and the will must generally be respected. That principle came through Salomon versus Salomon case. Sorry. And in this particular case, that is Gilford Motor Company case law, what happens is the court found that people are misusing these shields. People are misusing the shield between the company. And when a company is created deliberately to evade the law, to violate the law, to justify, to justice, to violate the law as well as justice, it demands the veil to be lifted. Here, in this situation, when the company is created deliberately to evade the law or to violate the law, the veil, that the separation or the shield between company as well as shareholders will be lifted, will be removed. Okay, that is the precedent for the lifting of corporate veil case. So in this case, the legitimate business structuring and secured debt is the motive. Here, the motive behind the company was legitimate, and here the court respected the veil. But in Gilford Motor Company versus Horne, what happened is the Mr. Horne formed a company solely to avoid his previous contractual obligations. So the court lifted the veil, and the company was created to evade the law. Hence, the court held that Mr. Horne will be personally liable. In this case, that is Jones versus Lipman, what happened is Mr. Lipman transferred land to his own company to avoid a contract of sale. Here also, he transferred a land to his own company to avoid that contract. So here also, the court lifted the veil and demanded liability was held not for the company, but for Mr. Lipman. Okay. So here is the quick recap. You should remember. You can remember this things with a small, quick shortcut. That is FTSAEP. Fraud, that is improper conduct. Tax evasion. These are the ultimate conditions where the court will lift the corporate veil between the shareholders as well as company. When fraud happens, the court will lift the veil. When tax evasion happens, court will lift veil. Sham company is created for the illegal activities. That time also court will lift the veil. When the agency relationship is happening, that time also the court will lift the veil. Enemy company, that is enemy country's company during the wartime is formulated or formed for harming the security of the country. That time also the court will lift the veil. And if the public interest is being harmed, that time also the court will lift the veil. So these are the things that you should remember. Your answer structure will be should be like this: define the shield, meaning of corporate veil, and separate legal entity. First, you should define what is shield, what is corporate veil, and what do you mean by separate legal entity. Then you have to explain the meaning of lifting the corporate veil and why courts must intervene. What is the need of lifting the corporate veil, that you have to mention, and what are the circumstances when the court will lift the veil, like the fraud, tax evasion, sham company, agency relationship, enemy company, and public interest. This shortcut you have to remember. Then the precedents, you have to remember the case laws, that is Salomon versus Salomon and Gilford company, as well as John's case law. So in the previous examination of CMA, this question came, that is explain the doctrine of lifting of corporate veil. Under what circumstances can it be lifted? This was a previous year exam question. So from this, you can understand that this is a very important concept that everyone should be aware of. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I will make my videos much shorter later, and if you find this helpful, do subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.